Hi there, Malcolm here with my 145th Booktube video, and today I'll be bringing you my March TBR. I've got quite a sizable pile, so let's get cracking. First up is The Series Solution by Bob Shaw. I started it in February, didn't quite have enough time to finish it. I was tired, so priority is to finish this one. From when I read it previously, it was a really good science fiction story, but with no recollection of what it was about. Upon reread, I'm not recognising anything. I'm even doubting I did read it in the first place. It's on my read list, but anyway, it follows two main characters. Denny Hargate, who at a young age was struck down with a debilitating illness, losing the use of his legs. And one day he staggers out to a favourite clearing of his in the woods, where things just feel a bit different and nice, only to find a mysterious, beautiful stranger standing there. When she thinks he's left, she vanishes, after waving her hands in the air in a particular way. She is Gritana, from the planet of Molan, one of many human planets that there are, and are pretty much the equivalent of Time Lords or Watchers. They observe the various planets with humans on them, but they don't interact with them. And as she learns to adapt to life on Earth and grows to become accustomed to their ways, she starts having doubts about her own role in the galaxy. Now, I want to finish this one as quickly as possible, because when I do, I then can move on to the book of the month, which is Reprieve by James Hahn Matteson, with lovely bloody edges there. In the run-up to Christmas, I was demonstrating board games in Waterstone, and there was a stack of these sitting on the table right in front of us. My colleague bought one at the end of the day, and I declined to do so, but couldn't help myself and ended up picking one up later on. It's bloody edges! Okay, it does look a bit like jam, but never mind. It was a cover buy. I was intrigued, so got to read this, find out what it's about, and was it worth picking up? And after that, I'll then move on to Point Horror Funhouse by Diane Ho. I did start this in February, but I wanted to read the series solution by the end of it, so I stopped giving myself enough time to read the series solution, but ended up not finishing it anyway. So once I finish Reprieve, I'll then finish off Funhouse. There's a roller coaster on the boardwalk, which is sabotaged, leading to the deaths and injuries of several people on board of it, and there's obviously some reason why. And of course that's as far as I've got, so curious to know the rationale behind that. I want to read this one as quickly as possible because I've got two big ones coming up, starting with Daughter of the Empire by Raymond E. Feist and Janny Wirtz. This is book 4 of the Rift War series and the first of a new trilogy, but this fantasy book is over 500 pages long, so I want to get going with this one as quickly as I can, because I then also want to try and read Magnificat by Julian May. This is book 4 of the Galactic Maloo series, and book 8 if you include the Saga of the Exiles as well. I've read this one before, don't really remember it, but it greatly features the Metapsychic Rebellion and the aftermath of that. And again, this is way over 500 pages. So kind of pushing it now to finish this by the end of the month, but if I do, it's then Wings, book 3 of the Bromeliad trilogy by Terry Pratchett, also known as the Gnomes series. I can't really tell you much about this one without giving away spoilers from the previous two books, but basically the gnomes are upping their ambitions. They started with trucks, then they moved on to diggers, now it's Wings. A lovely little series, and only the second time I would have read this book. And if I do get through this one, I'll then move on to Small Gods, also by Terry Pratchett, and a book of the Discworld series. This is arguably one of the standalone books, and chronologically takes place before any of the other books in the series. Whenever you have a character referring to the Church of Om, this book chronicles the birth of the Church of Om. And it's all set in a religious order of brothers, following a character called Brother, spelt B-R-U-T-H-A, so known as Brother, who despite all the rituals and traditions and religious paraphernalia that this particular religious order has surrounded itself, is the only person of the order who truly believes in the great god Om. Unfortunately, gods on the Discworld are only as powerful as the amount of belief that they get, and so the great god Om is only to pull on the belief of one devout follower, so when he manifests on the disc, he can only manage a tortoise. And so Brother and the tortoise Om go on an adventure, arguably to find themselves really. Om has to learn that there's more to being a god than just smiting people, and Brother, who has to teach Deacon Vorbis that there is more to faith than mere religion. Now, Terry Pratchett was a known atheist, but at the same time he was also very respectful of others' faiths and beliefs. And where one could argue that this does point a very strong finger at a specific religious persuasion, it is more the pointing of a finger at organised religion as a whole. and explores the concept that religion itself is the greatest barrier between man and God. A very cleverly written book, not one of my favourites, but still really looking forward to rereading this one again. So that's my main reading. Throughout all that, I do like to try and read some graphic novels. I'm working my way through my Tintin collection at the moment. I'll set myself 4 more titles this month. The Crowd with the Golden Claws, which will be one I've never read before. The Shooting Star, one of my personal favourites. The Secret of the Unicorn, another one I've never read before. And its sequel, Red Rackham's Treasure, another one I've not read before. And it's my understanding that the combination of these 3 titles constitutes the plot of the film, The Adventures of Tintin, with some artistic changes, of course. I'm still working my way through The Fall of the Governor Part 2 by Robert Kirkman and John Bonansinga when I'm boiling the kettle. I also read to everyone else in the household. So to my youngest, I'm reading The Winter Nights by Paul Stewart and illustrated by Chris Riddle, Book 2 of the Quint Sequence from the Edge Chronicles. And to my wife, I'm still reading Leviathan Falls, Book 9 of the Expanse series by James S.A. Corey. And a conclusion to a fantastic sci-fi epic. Highly recommend reading, highly recommend the TV series. So that's it for me for now. So I hope you enjoyed that. Comment down below any thoughts you have on the books I've shown you, any questions. As usual, if you have nothing nice to say, then please keep it to yourself. Thank you, and until next time, see you later.